Hari Om. Is the Atma dependent on the physical body, or is the body dependent on the Atma? The question arises because of the lack of understanding about what exactly is Atma, or the Supreme Consciousness. Bhirantasya Bhutanam Acharam Charam Yevacha. The Supreme Being, Infinite Consciousness, Sachidananda, the pure awareness, Aham, is inside and outside. It is in the living things as well as in the non-living things. Acharam Charam, the movable and in the unmovable things. Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. Nirguna Brahman encloses everything, all of the universes, and even the minutest of the atoms is being influenced, pervaded by that Nirguna Brahman. It is beyond everything. It is inside of everything too. Smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. Anivirk Anuvai, Appaluk Appalai. So, the nature of the Sachidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, is eternal happiness, eternal existence, infinite awareness, undecaying. It reveals itself by itself. It shines by itself. This is the test for something to be real. That it should exist by itself. What is real should exist by itself. It should reveal itself by itself. It should be undecaying and eternal. This condition will be fulfilled only by the infinite consciousness, Sachidananda Atma. Why? Because it is only the Brahman which is ever existent, eternally existent, unchanging, and self-revealing, self-shining. Everything else, what we can perceive in this world, will not fulfill these conditions. So it is only the Nirguna Brahman, Supreme Being, which is eternal, infinite, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. So what we understand now is that Atma is not dependent on anything. It exists by itself. It is a light unto itself. So then, is it true that the body is dependent on the Atma? Not exactly. Let us understand how exactly it is. The Atma is infinite existence consciousness. From that infinite existence consciousness, the Atma becomes Aham. Aham Nama Abhavat. It named itself as I, Aham. Aham iti spurati. It shines as I am, Aham. So, the I am consciousness is the first modification of the Atma, which basically shines as the awareness I am, without any attributes, without any limitations, without any attachment to body or the mind or any objects. It is pure awareness, Aham, existence consciousness. So, only because there is I am, the awareness of I am, the existence of I am, the eternal existence and the foundational existence of all that exists in the universe is the aham or the I am. So having the I am as its source, what rises up is the I thought, the mind or the ego. So for the I thought or the mind to rise up, there has to be an I am, a self-awareness. So only from the self-awareness or the Atma, the mind or the I thought rise up. So this mind or the I thought is called as the Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. All of us have three bodies: Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira. Causal body is called as the Karana Sharira. It is basically the avidya, contains the seeds of the latent impressions of the desires, vasanas. So these three bodies and the panchakoshas, they basically comprise the panchakoshas. Annamaya kosha, the body made of, physical body made of food substance. And the second body is the pranamaya kosha. Third body is the mind, manomaya kosha. Fourth layer is the vijnanamaya kosha, intellect, buddhi. And the fifth layer is the anandamaya kosha, avidya. So the first layer is the sthula sharira, second, third, fourth comprises the sukshma sharira, and the anandamaya kosha, which is there during our deep sleep, it comprises the karana sharira, causal body. It is the cause for our birth and further births, rebirths. So now the sukshma sharira is called as the mind or the I thought. So it is the sukshma sharira which basically dependent on the atma, the aham, for it to rise up and hold on. It is the foundation of the sukshma sharira. Sukshma sharira or the mind or the I thought can happen only when there is I am. In deep sleep, we remain as the I am, we remain merged with the I am, but the mind is inactive. So when the mind is inactive, there is no scope for the worldly activities or the vishayas or the worldly objects which can be held by the ego. Ego can actually associate itself with the worldly objects in deep sleep because ego itself is temporarily inactive in the state of deep sleep. So only in the waking state, rising from the I am or the aham, with the I thought, the ego associates and engages with the worldly objects. So all these activities are basically function of the sukshma sharira, subtle body. So this sukshma sharira is dependent on the atma for its appearance and existence. So that way, our physical body, which is basically able to be active because of the sukshma sharira, because the sukshma sharira comprises of the indriyas, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, pancha vayukkal, pranas. So all these intellect, buddhi, so all the various layers of the sukshma sharira, they can happen only when the I thought can rise up from the aham or the I am. So the atma is the foundation for the rising up of the I thought itself, sukshma sharira itself. And once the sukshma sharira happens, thereafter with the physical body and the mind, we can engage in the activities of the world. So in a way, the body is dependent on the atma indirectly through the sukshma sharira. Unless there is sukshma sharira, there cannot be life in this body. There is a simple example which is often being quoted in our scriptures. We have n number of water tanks which are filled with water. Now the sunlight falls on all these water tanks filled with water, and the sunlight reflects on all the tanks which is filled with water. Since there is water, the light is getting reflected. As long as there is water, there will be reflection of sun in those water held within each of the tanks. If the water goes off, dries up, even though there is sunlight falling on the water tank, there cannot be any reflection happening because there is no water. But the sunlight is always there. In the same way, the tank is our physical body. The water which are contained in the various tanks is the Sukshma Shariram, subtle body. Sunlight is the Atma. The Atma is getting reflected on the body, and body can function only when there is Sukshma Sharira, which is the water in the tank. When the Sukshma Sharira departs from the body, when there is death, which is equivalent to water getting evaporated from the tanks, dried up from the tanks, then even though there is sunlight, the tanks cannot reflect the sunlight. So even though there is Atma, Atma cannot have its reflection on the physical body once the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, leaves the physical body. So it is the Sukshma Sharira which is necessary for the worldly existence through its source of the Atma. So that way, our worldly activities can happen only when there is Sukshma Sharira in this physical body. It is the Sukshma Sharira which is cause for the birth and the rebirths, future births, etc. And the Sukshma Sharira itself cannot be eradicated or killed or destroyed by any means. It can subside in the Atma when one realizes one's true nature of being in the presence of Bhagavan, the pure I, Aham, or the I am. So it is the Atma which is the source of the Sukshma Sharira, and only because of the Sukshma Sharira the body can function in this world with life. So in this way, body is dependent on the Atma through the existence of the Sukshma Sharira in the body. And when the Sukshma Sharira leaves a body, even though Atma encompasses everything across all of the universes, and Atma is in the smallest of the atoms of this universe. So that way Atma influences every particle of this universe, but still the body cannot be alive when there is no Sukshma Sharira in the body. So Atma is not dependent on anything, but for the bodily existence, for the physical life, the Sukshma Sharira which rises up from the Atma, which kind of derives its basic existence from the Atma, because only through Atma, I am so and so, the idea of I am so and so, I am this body, etc. can arise up. This association with the physical body can rise up only when there is the foundational awareness of I am or the Aham, the presence of Bhagavan, from which the I thought can arise. So that way Atma is the indirect source of the Sukshma Sharira, and through Sukshma Sharira the physical functioning is happening. But our true nature is actually the presence of Bhagavan or the Atma. Even though we may be having the Sukshma Sharira, in the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, there is always the awareness of I am shining, which we actually attending to when we engage in the practice of Mahayoga. The awareness of the I am or the Aham, which we feel when our mind is quiet and still, is actually happening in the Vijnanamaya Kosha. because it is the self-revealing awareness. Swayam Jyotihi. Eshaya Swayam Jyotihi Aksesa Shakshi Vijnanakose Ajasram Vilasati Enam Lakshyam Vidaya Akanda Vrittaya Atmataya Anubhavaya. So this awareness which is shining in the Vijnanamaya Kosha as Aham or the I am, that we need to be attentive always. It should be our focus of attention. Thus keeping this Atman as the focus of attention, which is the I am or the Aham, we will gradually understand that this presence of Bhagavan is our very nature, is our reality. So whether we are in the body or not, we can always be aware of this presence of Bhagavan or the I am, because it is still has this association or the link in the subtle body, the Sukshma Sharira. So this we need to clearly understand, and let us focus our attention always on the pure I, the presence of Bhagavan, so that whether we are in the body or not, we shall always be in the presence of Bhagavan. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.